Rosso Uluru. Rosso Uluru. Rosso Uluru. Alright guys, hello, I'm Dylan from Throttle Company here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm surrounded by motorcycles. I've been surrounded by motorcycles for a couple weeks now. We've gotten like almost 40 motorcycles delivered in the last 10 days. It's been crazy. This video, we'll call it an in the loop, but it's sort of a different version of in the loop because I want to focus on this bike, which is the V85 Adventure Edition, and the color scheme is called Rosso Uluru, and I'll put it up on the screen, but it's around 13,000. It has some different features. I did a video using the Guardia d'Onore that we had gotten in, but we just got this, and this, bad news, this one's sold. I do have a yellow, red, white, yellow version of this that we affectionately call, and I do mean affectionately call, the McDonald's bike. Well, anyway, this bike, I'm going to go take it on a test ride. This is the last step of my pre-delivery inspection, and that means delivery to the customer. So I'll go over some differences on this one. I thought I'd park here right in front of our cool Moto Guzzi red gate. I might have some people I have to talk to here in a minute, but anyway, the major differences on this bike compared to the other ones: the seat's different. It's a perforated fabric rather than kind of the vinyl or leather on the other ones, suede on some of the other ones. Same hand guards that you get on the other ones. You don't have heated grips, even though you have the button and the wiring for it. You have the shorter windscreen, like the standard model of the V85 has. Different tires. So these are called Anarchy Adventures, and they're a little more off-road oriented. We don't have center stand. We have this cool guard up here that has the kind of the white. This white, I hope it comes across on camera, but it's a pearl. It's very nice. The red frame and everything are on both models of the Adventure model. And I mean, you're looking at it, just a beautiful bike. So I thought I would bring you along on this one and finish up my official test ride on this. Someone gave me the business in the last comments, said, you just made a used bike, but trust me, you want me to ride this bike before you take it. That's why it's called pre-delivery, delivery to the customer. That's the last thing we do here, and it's part of the official form from Piaggio, who owns Moto Guzzi, and they want me to test drive. So I've done the class. I'm a certified Moto Guzzi technician, and this is my last step. I put the battery in this bike. I've checked the oil level. I put on the mirrors. You can even see because I left the adjusters there exposed. These mirrors are going to be all wacky, but I want to ride it 5 miles. I put gas in it and I give it to the customer, but I'm putting my seal of approval on this thing, making sure it's ready to go. So a little bit interesting on the V85s, and the V9s are the same way. How you turn it on, toggle it by this way. We start it up, we get the signature side-to-side shake. I'm gonna navigate my way through the parking lot here. Okay, so this might be a shorter version of the in the loop. I wanted to show you mostly the differences. I am buying one of these, so I'm buying the travel version. I'm kind of waiting to see. There's actually a guy that might be in here buying it right now. So this happened to me when I bought my Royal Enfield. Kept putting my name on one, and then someone would come in and it'd be the last one, and they say, oh, would you mind selling it to this guy? Okay, sure. So I kind of want to see where the demand is at on that, and then once I feel like one's been here for a while, I'll wind up making that mine. But the difference is between the travel and the adventure version, like I'm on right now is the adventure version, is you do have the heated grips on the travel version this year. You have a taller windscreen, the touring windscreen. You have a center stand. You also have a tire pressure monitoring system on the dash. None of that stuff I have on Adventure. So if you don't care about any of that stuff, or you plan to add that stuff, like heated grips is something you can easily add. It's like a $250, $300 option, and you can easily add that. Obviously the wiring is all there. A center stand, if you don't care about the center stand, or if you just plan to add that yourself, you can add that. This model comes with bags So by that I mean aluminum cases. There's 2 side cases and a top case, but that's all included in the price. So the price for this is just over $13,000 MSRP. I think it winds up being around $16,000 out the door if you care about that price difference. Obviously you do, but depending on where you are and stuff, that's taxes, title, registration, that kind of thing. And anyway, these bikes are just awesome. They're a little on the taller side if you're used to street bikes. If you're used to adventure bikes, like let's say a BMW GS or a Tiger, Triumph Tiger, these are all in the same kind of ecosphere. And this is on the shorter side, seat height wise, compared to those bikes. But that's just something to consider. Some people like this bike and then they sit on and they think, oh, I don't know if I can do it. There are some options out there in the world. As far as lowering, you can get a lower seat. You can also go as far as to lower the suspension front and rear. In my experience, you get anywhere from 1 to 2 inches doing all those things, and that makes a huge difference when it comes to seat height. Being able to put your foot down or being on the balls of your feet as opposed to the toes of your feet gives you a lot of confidence. If you're a very experienced rider, you've been riding bikes for a long time, then you probably don't even care about that. And even if you are on the shorter side, people who have been riding a long time, that comes with it, and you get it, and you've gotten used to it at this point. There's some pretty cool videos online of, I forgot her name right now, but I'll look it up, but there's a woman who rides a GS. I don't know why I just forgot her name. I had it, but she's great, and she does videos of her riding them and getting on and off and loading them in trucks by herself and stuff. Very cool stuff. So let's continue to talk about the features that I've learned. We have a clock here. We have the mileage there on the right. Some people, actually the guy who's buying this bike said, oh, there's a lot going on the dash. I don't know if I want all that. You really don't have to pay attention to anything, but you've got your speedometer there and on a tack here. I got a gear indicator, but it's blue. It kind of fades in the background. You don't have to pay attention to too much. We've got different ride modes. Right now I'm in road mode, and if you never take it out of road mode, that's great. You're fuel efficient and you are on the road. But you have an off-road mode as well. I'll go through those here in a second when I'm not in a turn. So the way that we access that is by pushing the button. See how I went to rain? The start button while you're rolling, which is a little scary at first. We got a custom map we can make. We got off-road, which turns off the ABS in the rear, and sport mode. Sport mode's a little bit more immediate throttle. It's probably not something you noticed there, but there's a little bit of a built-in delay on road mode, and I think that comes from basically traction control uses the ignition system to retard the ignition slightly. It's how the traction control works on this bike, and so it has a little bit of that. Sport mode that is less invasive, and so you feel kind of a more immediate response. There have been some map updates on the V7, so if you're watching this and you're a V7 guy, guy's on the phone, that's hilarious. If you're watching this and you're a V7 guy or girl, and your bike has a little bit more of a delay in there, take it into the dealer, have them install the new update, and it should take care of that. The V85s all have been coming with those updates, so just so you're aware that such a thing exists. I'm not going to go crazy on this. I'm not going to get up to max speed probably, but this is a 6-speed transmission. We also have cruise control. Because this is a test ride, I am going to test that here in a second. So I'll show you the way that works is we hold in cruise and then we push it one more time. Now I'm at 57. I can take my hand off the throttle and I'm going 57. I can bump it up, 58, 60, 61, and it catches up. Push it again, takes it off, push it now. I'm now on 57. By holding the clutch, it goes off. It's exactly like you'd expect. Do anything unusual, hit the brakes, pull in the clutch, and cruise control disengages. So I know that some people are scared of having a cruise control on a motorcycle, but on a longer trip, which is what this motorcycle is built for, just covering major distances, just having to have your hand on the throttle at all times, it gets tiring, and being able to put your hand in a different position. I hope that guy's headed to the shop. He's got a vintage BMW. Just being able to move positions of your hand is huge for comfort. I believe I've tested everything. I already tested the horn while I was back there, but I can honk at that guy and let him know. Still got my turn signal on. I'm testing that. We can do hazards, different headlight modes, but essentially you've just witnessed a successful test ride on the V85 Adventure. I need to get gas. That's the last thing I'll do before I go to the shop. And I will get rid of this little fuel indicator light there. But these are fantastic motorcycles. I think the person who I'm noticing, the person who buys this motorcycle is someone who's had a Moto Guzzi before and wants another one, wants the latest and greatest from Moto Guzzi. That is a perfect person who would buy a V85. Another person is someone who's looking at Triumph Tigers or BMW GS. What else? There's an Aprilia Touareg 660 that just came out. Someone just showed me this Husqvarna Norden 901 that is in this same ecosphere. Those last two bikes are a little more rally oriented, kind of Dakar. Think about Dakar Rally, which is where the livery is sort of inspired on this bike. But if you're looking at any of those bikes, I imagine you probably already know that's why you're looking at this one as well. The thing that's different about this bike is not all those bikes are shaft drive. The BMW GS I know is, and so you might be looking at this and considering this over some other bikes because of the shaft drive. You don't have to do maintenance on this shaft drive. Essentially ever. You change the fluids, but it's meant to be maintenance free. You change the fluids at, I think it's 18,000 miles. It might be kilometers, I cannot remember that one. And then, but it's not for a long time. I like to change the fluids at the very first service. I'm noticing that initial breaking in of those gears is making for some dirty oil. Change that gear oil the first time in the transmission and the final drive, and you're good to go. I'm going to pull into the parking lot here, so this won't be my normal ending for, or I'm pulling in the gas station here for these in the loop videos. But thanks for following along. Check out my other in the loop videos. If you have any questions about this bike or other bikes or other Moto Guzzis that we sell, I was right, that guy did go. I think it was a guy. Go to our shop. If you want to check out vintage bikes and you're anywhere near Columbus, Ohio, we do vintage motorcycles. That's us over there. Moto Guzzi and Royal Enfield. So please stop by. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you later.